Hey, what's going on guys? Welcome to my summer banner review video. This is the third summer banner. It includes the 4 following heroes: Tana, Cordelia, Ines, and Noire. In this video, I'm going to look at each unit's kit and give you guys my opinion on them, but before we start, for those that haven't noticed yet, Legault was demoted down to 4 stars, which means that Attack Tactic is available as 4 stars now. That's going to be great for you guys that are trying to build and start a mixed emblem team. Attack Tactic is pretty much a staple skill for those teams. Starting off is Tana. She's our second red mage flyer, and she's basically flying Noire but with flipped offensive stats, which is good. She's much better than Noire stat wise. 36 speed is a good number to be at, especially for a red unit. New units are just so fast nowadays. I mean, take a look at Carla and legendary Ryoma. They have 39 and 40 base speed, which is just insane. So yeah, her high speed is going to be a huge pro for her. Other than that, nothing else really stands out. 33 attack is decent. Combined with her high speed, she's going to be a great Blade Tome user if you want to go for a player phase nuking route. Defensively, she's underwhelming. 55 total physical bulk means that she might run into some problems in high tier arena. If she's not one-shotting plus 10 merged, distant counter armored, or Dragonstone units, then she's probably gonna die from the foe's counterattack. Then again, you shouldn't use her in arena anyways. She only has 149 BST, so she doesn't score all too well. She'll be fine for arena assault though. Her magical bulk is a little bit better than her defense. It's at 60. That should be enough bulk to survive attacks from red and green mages, considering that she's highly capable of preventing doubles due to her high speed. That's going to be very useful if she's running any skills that requires the unit to have lower HP like Desperation. You can use her to bait a mage on enemy phase and she'll naturally be low enough to use those kind of skills. Her unique tome grants 3 speed passively, and if unit's HP is greater or equal than 50%, allies within 2 spaces can move to a space adjacent to unit. Basically the opposite of Noire's unique tome Grimoire, which has the Flyer Guidance 2 effect. Tana's tome has a Guidance 2 effect, but it works with all classes, not just infantry and armored. This weapon is going to help your teams move around the map easier. Being more mobile is always great because it will give you more movement options to work with, which also means less errors. I think it's going to be more useful on mixed emblem teams rather than a full-fledged flyer emblem team, because flyers are generally easier to position since they can traverse across all terrain. Flyers don't really need it, but I mean, you could make a defensive flyer team with Tana's fruit weapon just to try and snag a free defensive win with it. This type of skill usually catches people by surprise. Overall, I like the weapon and the effect. It has utility, and the 3 extra speed passive is a nice little addition that will help her double more foes. Assist is rally speed res. This skill is inheritable from a 4-star tout to you, so please don't fodder Tana for this skill. It's mainly used to increase in arena score. That's pretty much it. New A skill is attack speed push 3. At start of combat, if unit's HP is at 100%, grants attack and speed plus 5, but if unit attacked, deals 1 damage to unit after combat. Just to clarify the recoil part of the effect, if the unit is at 100% HP and performs an attack on either phase, then that unit will receive the recoil damage. It works for both phases, just so we're clear. Anyways, this skill is similar to Celica's Ragnarok, except that the recoil damage is much less. I think it's generally not a good skill for most units, but only for a select few. If you give it to a melee unit, they need more than just renewal in the B slot to help them restore their health back to full, because not only do they have to heal the 1 damage recoil, but they also need to heal the damage dealt by the foe. With that being said, I think the best melee candidates are the ones that can run double renewal, like Falchion users, maybe Young Tiki with her new refined Breath of Fog, or you can just give it to any unit and just make sure you bring a healer on your team. With his refined Falchion might be able to get away without using both Falchion and renewal, just because he deals so much damage on the player phase anyways. He can 1-round KO so many units, therefore he doesn't get counterattacked that often. The better candidates would be ranged units, since they can avoid counterattack damage versus most melees. The only problem with ranged units is that in arena, everyone has distant counter, which is why I believe Fury is still a much better skill on ranged units, because it grants them not only offensive stats, but defensive stats as well, which could potentially help them survive some matchups. But if you're looking for good potential ranged candidates, Celica would be good. Ragnarok and attack speed push will grant her plus 10 attack and speed. Arbus would be another good one because he has recover ring, but without Fury, he's going to be worse at using ploys. B skill is renewal. It's there to combo with attack speed push obviously. C skill spur, attack defense 2. The only other unit that has this skill is Sword Reinhardt. It's a decent spur buff. Attack and defense is useful for enemy phase physical tanks. I don't think Tana is amazing, but she's good. She can do well with her default kit. It provides good damage and some utility. If you want to make her a better offensive unit, then a blade tone build is always an option. The only problems with her is her low physical bulk and low BST, which translates to low arena scoring. If you plan to use her, I would recommend that your team is able to provide buffs for her that covers every single stat to minimize her weaknesses. Fodder wise, all she has that's worth inheriting from is attack speed push, but that's not really a must-have type of skill. Best boon for her are going to be plus attack or plus speed. Her best bane is defense then HP because she should be able to prevent doubles, so minus defense is practically the same thing as minus HP, except that a bane in HP lowers her magical bulk by 3. Next is Cordelia. She's a Lance Cavalier. Her stats kind of remind me of a Cavalier version of Shigure. They're both really fast with average attack, decent defense, and low resistance. If we compare her with other relevant Lance Cavaliers in the game, she outspeeds them by a long mile. Oscar was known to have one of the best offensive stats among Lance Cavaliers with his 33-34 spread. Cordelia has 32-38. She outspeeds them by 4, which is huge. Like I said earlier, these new sword units that are being released in the game are insanely fast. You need a lot of speed in order to double them, and Cordelia definitely has the potential to do that. I would have liked if she had a little bit more attack. She only has 32, but it's understandable because she has 38 speed. I think it is good enough. I think 32 attack is the bare minimum that I would want to see on my speedy heroes. Her weapon is Shell Lance. If unit initiates combat, grants attack, speed, defense, and resistance plus 2 during combat. Now this is the opposite of Winter Robin's weapon Tannin Boom. Tannin Boom grants plus 2 in every stat when the unit is attacked on enemy phase. Shell Lance grants the buffs when the unit initiates on player phase. This weapon is refinable, and if you refine it with plus speed, the weapon grants 2 speed on initiation and grants 3 speed passively, making it a grand total of 5 extra speed. There's a lot of great lances out there, but this one is probably the best inheritable lance for increasing speed on player phase. Assist is Harsh Command. No one uses this skill even though it does have potential. It just costs too low in SP and it's way too situational. H skill is Sturdy Blow 2. It grants the user damage and extra bulk. Cordelia has the stat line to run Sturdy Blow decently. She's fast and has average defense. Unfortunately, she doesn't have that high of a defense stat to the point where she'll only receive damage in the single digits against other blue units. She can do well versus reds with Sturdy Blow, but that should be a given. Alright, B skill. A while ago, Morgan came out with dual range. Now we have dual close. If foe uses a melee weapon, neutralizes foe's bonuses during combat. This only negates display buffs like Fortify, Rally, Hone, and Tactic buffs. I'm not a fan of these dual skills. Stacking combat buffs is quite common in Arena, and dual skills do absolutely nothing against that. If you do come across a team that utilizes display buffs like a mixed Emblem team with tactic skills, you can easily dismantle the team and prevent them from using display buffs by manipulating AI. Also, the B slot is very competitive. There's a bunch of good skills in this slot. If you want a B skill that makes your units tankier, then Guard is a better option. If we judge Cordelia just from her base stats, she does look like she might fall short in one run KOing other blue units because of her average 32 attack. But if you get the right IVs on her, she's able to get 35-38 offensive spread, which is what we love Cordelia for. It's the same offensive spread as her other versions with plus speed IVs. I think getting optimal IVs on her will be very important, or else you probably won't feel that impressive. As for skill fodder, the only skill I think is worth inheriting from her is her weapon, Shell Lance. I don't like dual close for the reasons I stated earlier. Best boon for her is plus attack or plus speed. More attack obviously increases her damage. With plus speed IVs, you can focus on giving her skills to buff her attack rather than speed. Best bane for her is HP or res. Even though res is a -4 super bane, it doesn't affect her arena scoring, and it's going to be the best bane to maximize her defensive bulk. Next is Innis. He's an axe flyer, and like all the other units in this banner, he's extremely fast. There's no unit in the axe flyer category that has his kind of stat line. New Year's Azura has the most similar offensive spread as Innis, but she's very fragile. Minerva is the second fastest Wyvern rider, but she has 2 less attack and 4 less speed. It doesn't mean that she's worse than Innis because she does have her own unique weapon and is refinable as well. Innis' stat line is just on another level at this point. It's very flexible and he can be built many different ways. With his speed and bulk, he can definitely be built for either phase, but player phase is where he'll really shine. Later down the road, if we finally get access to Fire Sweep Axe, then he'll definitely be one of the best Fire Sweep Axe users in this game. His weapon is Beach Banner, same effect as Cordelia's Shell Lance, so I'm just going to skip it. Rally Attack Defense, useful for increasing arena score. New B skill is Defense Feint 3. I didn't get the chance to go over Feint skills when they were first introduced, but I could literally take up like 5 minutes discussing the pros and cons between feints and ploys. I'm just going to sum up everything and say that feint skills are just very awkward to use and just not worth using unless you build a team around it. I don't think it's worth using mainly because it takes up the B slot. The B slot just has so many amazing skills that drastically changes individual combat performance. If a unit is able to run ploys, then I would give them ploy over feint. Ploys do inflict 2 less points than feints, but having a B skill like Wrath, Desperation, Quick Riposte, Guard, and many other B skills I feel is much more important. C skill is Gold Flyers, great for flyer teams, but nothing special here because Gold Flyers is inheritable from a 4-star Pala. Innis is a very good unit to pull for because of his stat line. However, the problem with Innis, and this goes for every unit on this banner, they're all seasonal. It's going to be very difficult to get his merge levels up unless you're a whale. Like, I love Innis, but I don't see the point of getting one copy of him other than just to have him. He'll just end up sitting on the bench. However, if you don't have enough axe units for Arena Assault, then he's a great pickup. The only skill worth following him for is his weapon, Beach Banner. I'm not a fan of feint skills, but it does have potential. As for IVs, his best boon is attack or speed, best bane is resistance. Last unit on the banner is Noire. She's an infantry archer. 32-36 offensive spread is a little bit above average, I would say. It's not amazing, but it's not too shabby. She's going to be able to run a lot of different bows. Fire sweep bow is for sure going to be one of her best bows. Surprisingly, she has decent physical bulk as well, and that's going to be very useful. That's going to allow her to be able to take hits from distant counter foes when she's not using a fire sweep bow, except from dragons because they deal adaptive damage and most of them run quick riposte. Her weapon is Cocoa Bow. I'm actually quite sad because when the units were leaked, I thought I read somewhere that her weapon was called Boko Nut. I actually think Boko Nut sounds better than Cocoa Bow. Boko Nut kind of sounds like a Pokemon name in a way. Anyways, same effect as the Beach Banner and Shell Lance. Nothing new here. Cordelia, Innis, and Noire all have similar stat lines. They're all fast with good physical bulk, and these weapons actually complement their stat lines very well. Cocoa Bow is a good weapon for her, especially if you do not have Fire Sweep Bow fodder. Assist skill is Ardent Sacrifice. It's a bad skill on her. Swap it out for drawback, reposition, or a rally skill. I mean, you can use it with Desperation to get her into that 75% health range, but I don't really like that setup. I think it's just too much of a hassle. A skill is Attack Speed 2. It's useful on a budget build since it grants 2 points in attack and speed, but better skills for her would be Swift Sparrow, Fury, and if you give her a Fire Sweep Bow, then Life and Death would be good as well. New C skill is Infantry Rush 3. Now this is the skill of the banner. Infantry allies within 2 spaces of unit gain the Heavy Blade effect. Do note that the user does not gain the effect, it only works for allies. See, now with this skill, your units do not have to run Heavy Blade in the A slot anymore. Infantry Rush frees up the A slot for your allies so they can run better things like Distant Counter or a stat boosting skill. Also, there's only one Heavy Blade seal in this game, so now you can give Heavy Blade seal to the unit with Infantry Rush, and then everyone on the team has the Heavy Blade effect. Alright, so if we forget the fact that she's a seasonal unit, then there's a lot of great things about her. She has good stats, probably the best fodder unit on the banner by far, and the best thing about her is her art. I think her art is actually really funny. Intelligent Systems tried to put her in that anime pose where she shows off all the goodies, but it ended up looking like she's breaking her back every time she attacks. I'm not gonna lie, she doesn't look like she's having a good time in her attack art. As for IVs, best boon is speed, then attack. Best bane I would take resistance, then HP. If you plan to go Fire Sweep Bow on her, then the bane doesn't really matter as long as it's not attack or speed. Alright, so for my ranking, I have Noire as number 1, not because of her stats, it's because of Infantry Rush. 2 through 4 are interchangeable. I think they're all pretty good units to use, so it comes down to what you need. I'm gonna put Tana as number 2 because Red Mage Flyers are quite rare and she has really nice offensive stats. Innis will be at number 3 and Cordelia will be at number 4. If these guys weren't seasonal and merging to plus 10 was realistic for non-whale players, then I would put Innis at number 1. Alright, so the question of the video is, are you guys summoning or passing on this banner? If you summoned already, which I know a lot of you guys have, let me know who you got in the comments below. I only summoned a full circle and I'm stopping there. I don't really need anything from this banner. I would have liked to get Infantry Rush just to experiment with it, but it's not a priority for me. If you haven't summoned already, I would recommend passing on this banner. While these units do look good, they aren't anything special. The way I see it nowadays is that if new units don't bring anything unique along with their stat line, then they aren't really worth summoning for. Stats are just stats, they're bound to get power creep real soon, It happens with every new banner, so the main things I look for in these new units are not only good stats, but unique skills and weapons. I won't be surprised if IS will release another fast axe flyer with a unique weapon next month. And yeah, that's just how I see things with banners nowadays, but this banner does contain good and solid units. If you need them, feel free to summon for them, but I would highly recommend saving your orbs. And that's going to be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.